Of that interview in about an hour's time. First, let's talk to Jamie Smith-Maillet, who's a freelance journalist in France and has been following the G7 summit. He joins us now live. Hello, Jamie. Thanks for talking to us. An end to the war in a couple of weeks, according to Marco Rubio. What more did he have to say?
Yeah, well, indeed, these were the sort of the airside comments that he made after the G7 meeting of foreign ministers, which was held just outside Paris yesterday. It was actually quite long remarks that he made in this ad hoc talk to the press on the tarmac, also covering Ukraine and Cuba. And as you said, that was the headline that we were hearing, the end of the conflict in sight, a matter of weeks, not months. On the question of troops, he said that Washington was on or ahead of its schedule and it could be achieved without boots on the ground, but that there were some troops being deployed to the region to, quote, give the president maximum optionality and maximum opportunity to adjust contingencies should they emerge. And really on war efforts, another point that he made is regarding European allies and elsewhere, saying the US had never asked anyone to join the war. That comment may have been read as slightly contradicting previous remarks heard earlier on a few weeks ago from the US president, claiming that many European countries were not really doing enough to support war efforts. And really, I suppose the other message is that coming from this is as how this sits with European leaders or other allied nations is that these remarks had come after the G7 talks, which they themselves thought that might be some slightly thorny given transatlantic relations and a slight rift there. There was a statement that came from the talks, but there is perhaps a feeling of what's being said inside the room doesn't necessarily always echo what's said on the outside during these moments with the press.
How would you assess the mood of European leaders?
Yeah, well, I mean, yesterday I managed to gather comment from a foreign affairs minister delegate for in France for Francophonie, who really insisted on the continued message here of de-escalation and a diplomatic resolution to the conflict. Also saying that the talks yesterday with the G7 has been very efficient, that it clearly showed that there was a common resolution that had come forward, and it was a great tool to resolve international crises. This was echoed as well by the French Foreign Minister Jean-Noël Barrot. In Germany, Friedrich Merz, as well, sort of sitting on that line and that strategy there of showing that there is clearly a defensive approach in anything that would happen
Okay.
in Europe. So we can see there, generally speaking, a clearer tone of European leaders still standing together in their positioning on this.
Jamie Smith-Maillet in France, many thanks. The G7 summit also focused on civilians killed in the US-Israel war.